Welcome to my channel on the best of fantasy. These are the weeks that were, are, and shall be. Let's begin with the exciting news that the audiobook, as narrated by Alan from the Library of Alexandria, for The Way of Edan, book 1 of the Edan trilogy, is going to be out any moment now because Alan is done. The engineers are doing the final touches, the final edits, and all we have to do is stick that audiobook on Audible and have them approve it. So any day now, we'll be releasing the audiobook for The Way of Edan. If you've been waiting for it, here it is. I will have an announcement video on the day that it actually does release. I can anticipate that could be any day now. So I'm pretty excited about it. I made a video with Alan. I think it'll be fun to watch for those of you who are interested in that audiobook. I asked him some, I think, interesting questions. But it's been so great to work with Alan on this project. He is so talented. And if you're someone who enjoys audiobooks where the narrator does a lot of different voices, then I anticipate that you might actually really enjoy this one. So yeah, I'm really excited. It's out. It's here. And we're going to see it very soon. I also want to make an announcement about a book that I recently read and will be discussing with my fellow Quilluminati. That is to say, Brian from BellTube and John from Talking Story and Mike from Mike's Book Reviews. The four of us read Ordinary Grace. We've all finished reading it, and I will be hosting a discussion and a live stream, in fact, on my channel on Thursday evening at, I believe it's 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So this coming Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, if you would like to read this book. It actually reads very quickly, so you still have time to read it before Thursday if you want to pick it up. I loved this book. It was a really great read. Good coming-of-age story, a bit of a mystery in there as well. It's set in Minnesota. So some really nice Americana set in the very early 60s, in fact. I really love this read. It was a nice break from my usual fare, my usual fantasy, it's a very well-written book, very strong authorial voice, with some beautiful stuff in here, some really thoughtful, beautiful stuff. I found it very engaging. So I'm looking forward to talking with Mike and Brian and John about Ordinary Grace by William Kent Kruger. Yeah, and if you'd like to be there and hear what we think, again, it's Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And let's see, what else am I up to here? What do I want to tell you guys about? Well, my recent reads, of course, I am continuing with my One Piece journey, and I'm reading it digitally. I continue to love this series. It is just such a wonderful refuge for me to read One Piece. I call it my happy place. But it's also very deep, and it does confront some really big, serious themes in a unique way, with a lot of humor mixed in there, which makes those deeper, harder themes more tolerable. But I'm having a great time. I recently released a video on Thriller Bark, and I will be continuing with the Summit War saga, which contains some of the most popular arcs in the entirety of the One Piece series. So I'm really excited. I keep hearing about how amazing these arcs are going to be. So I'm anticipating some really great stuff ahead in One Piece and looking forward to it. I also recently finished reading Peril's Gate by Jenny Wirtz. This is the 6th book in the Wars of Light and Shadow, Jenny Wirtz's masterpiece just series that I just keep getting more and more in love with this series. And I will have lots to say about this when we discuss it with Joanna and with AP, and that video will be coming out very soon. In fact, Tuesday. My plan is to release our discussion on Tuesday of this book. And I could not be more excited to discuss it with those two. I always enjoy discussing books with AP and Joanna. And this one, for me, is a major turning point in the series. It's a deeply spiritual book. It's a beautiful book. In many ways, I will say that, and I don't know if I'm minority or majority in this, but this could be my favorite book in the series so far because of what it does. But it does something, I can't say too much without spoilers, but it brings the series to a new level for me. And that is a very spiritual, transcending kind of level. And I'm very intrigued to see what Jenny Wirtz is going to do going forward in the Wars of Light and Shadow. But yeah, that was just it wasn't a fast read. Be warned, it is not a fast read. Jenny Wirtz books are, in general, deep and thoughtful and thought-provoking, and you need to take your time with them. You need to engage with them, and I think that is more true of Peril's Gate than of any previous book in the series. But I found myself so moved, so stirred, so just in love with this experience of reading this book. So yeah, I had a really amazing time with it. And next, after things settle down here for me, I am going to be reading The Exile. And that is a novella by Ryan Cahill. It is part of The Bound and the Broken, and I've been discussing that series with a great group of people, with John from Talking Story, and Christopher Navo, and with Mike from Mike's Book Reviews. And we're going to be talking over at Christopher's channel fairly soon about The Exile. So I need to read it. It's just a quick little novella, but I'm anticipating this is going to be a great read. I've been enjoying The Bound and the Broken so far, and I hear nothing but praise for The Exile. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Ryan Cahill can do in this book, because I have been seeing some really great action-oriented writing, some solid character work, and I feel like I'm getting more and more invested in this world, in Etheria, and I'm eager to see what he does in this, and of course in the great big tome that follows it, and that is let's see, what is it called here? Of War and Ruin, of course. I'll be reading that probably in October, I think. But yeah, that's exciting to me. I will also be getting back soon to R. Scott Baker's series, the Second Apocalypse series, specifically within that, though, the Aspect Emperor series. This is the third book in Aspect Emperor, or the sixth book overall in the Second Apocalypse series. I have been loving Aspect Emperor particularly. I mean, I was deeply impressed by the first trilogy, by the Prince of Nothing, but Aspect Emperor, to me anyway, it's somewhat personal, the way I'm reacting to it, because of the many Tolkien nods and subversions that are in Aspect Emperor. But yeah, it's just been hitting the right notes for me. I'm curious to see where he goes in The Great Ordeal, which is the next book in the series. And then there's only one more published so far, although I believe Baker has plans to continue in that world. I don't know much about that, though. But yeah, I'm excited. And I've been discussing that series with Joanna, and it's going to be great to see what we both think of The Great Ordeal. And I will also be reading a whole bunch of self-published books, because it is time for me to read the semi-finalists that my wonderful team has picked for me. And I want to give a huge thank you to my team that includes Von Roycroft, the author, who also has a great blog that he writes, and that's where he included his reviews of his SPFBO or Spiffbox reads. And also Matt over at Go Read Books. Matt did a great job and picked a wonderful semi-finalist for me. Sam over at Sam Harrison. Great channel. Check it out if you haven't already. He's a big supporter of indie books. And Abel as well. Abel Montero, fantastic fellow, and also a huge supporter of indie books and self-published books. And Brian over at BellTube. The five of them have just done a wonderful job, and they've all got their semifinalists. Four of them announced. I'm not going to say Brian's yet, because he has not announced it, and I don't want to steal his thunder. But the other four I can announce, because they've been announced over on their various media, their various social media. And I encourage you to check out their reviews and channels. But I'm going to be reading South Breaks by Hannah Steenbach, and Trollgrave by Alex Bradshaw, Soul Stealer by L. McInerney. I knew I was going to mess up that name. I practiced that name. I'm sorry. L. McInerney? I don't know. Sam said it so well when he said it on his channel. And I thought, oh, that's how you say that. And I just blew it big time. But anyway, I'm looking forward to reading Soul Stealer based on his praise. And finally, The Sunset Sovereign by Laura Huey. I'm not sure if I said that right either, but I'm looking forward to reading your book, Laura. I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name if I did so. And then the fifth I will be talking about later. That is when Brian gives his official announcement of it. But I do know what it is, and I'm very excited to read it. I'm just excited to jump into these SPFBox reads. I'll be reading the 5 of them in September and in October. And at the end of October, near the end of October, I'm going to get together with my team and I'm going to discuss each of the semi-finalists with them. We're going to make a video with all of us together. And I'm going to reveal at the end of that video which of those 5 books is the finalist from our group for a SPFBox. So yeah, that's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to that. Now let's see, what have I been up to on the channel? Well, on the channel, I've had a lot of fun, of course. I had a great discussion with Murphy Napier about why we love One Piece. I always love chatting with Murphy, and she is the person who got me into manga in the first place and really my inspiration for starting One Piece. So it was great to have a chance to have a chat with her about that series. Also, I released my video on Thriller Bark. As I mentioned, I finished Thriller Bark and released my thoughts on it and got some great feedback from the folk in the comments. Just really appreciate all the One Piece fans who have been immensely helpful in my One Piece journey so far. Just tremendously respectful. I haven't had any major spoilers from anyone, and it's just really neat to be able to connect with people who love a series and are very invested in other people's enjoyment of that series, and so they're respectful of spoilers and everything else. So really great time over there. And what else? Oh yes, of course, I had a Dear Dr. Fantasy episode with Jordan and Nikki from iWizard. What a wonderful couple. What a couple of really intelligent, thoughtful people who love our genre, and in fact are writing a book that I can relate to so many things about their journey, and I wish them so much luck with it. But in the meantime, they're running a great channel over there at iWizard. Very, very thoughtful videos and thought-provoking and just deep stuff. So I had a great time chatting with them, and I encourage you to check out iWizard. And I released a couple of videos that things I've been thinking about, things that I thought maybe would be fun to discuss, maybe even helpful for some people. One of them was a very short meditation, I guess you could call it, on how stories make us human. That was a thing that I've been thinking about, something that's been jumbling around and kicking around in my brain. And I thought, let's just make a quick video and talk about that. And I got some great comments on that video. And just about the role that stories play in our lives and how important they are and how we're made of stories in so many ways. Just a celebration of stories and what they do for us. So that was fun. And then I released a video on what I learned from or about self-publishing as a result of this incredible journey I've been on of releasing the Adian trilogy and engaging with so many wonderful people in the process. So I shared my thoughts and tried to be helpful to anyone out there who is considering such a journey, or maybe just to people who are curious about what it entails to publish your own books and wear all the different hats that you have to wear as a self-published author. So yeah, I think that video went pretty well as well. And I started a series of discussions on the Rings of Power Season 2 with my nemesis, A.P. Canavan from A Critical Dragon. And so far we've released our first discussion, which is on my channel. And the second discussion will be out imminently on his channel on the second episode. And we've actually recorded our thoughts on episodes 3 and 4 already. So those will be out relatively soon. I believe I'll be releasing the discussion on episode 3 on Thursday of this week, so you can look out for that if you're interested. It's interesting how AP and I seem to pick the more, let's say, controversial series out there to discuss, because there are a lot of strong feelings about Rings of Power out there. But for the most part, it's a series that I think it's fair to say I've been enjoying. I have my issues with it here and there, particularly with these more recent episodes, 3 and especially 4. But I am finding myself curious to see what happens next, and I don't mind the diversions from the what's perceived by many people to be the lore and that sort of thing. I'm interested in the storytelling. Is it a good story or not? I love Tolkien's works. You will probably be hard-pressed to find a bigger Tolkien nerd than myself. But I have, I guess, maybe just a minority view when it comes to adaptations, and I tend to look at them for what they are on their own merits. And this is a series that has some pros to me, and it has definite cons as well. And I don't have a problem with people who aren't enjoying it, but it's also fun for me to talk about it with AP because he has such great insights into storytelling. And I love to hear what he has to say. So I'm having fun talking about Rings of Power with him. And finally, yeah, I have released a couple videos, just short little quick ones on the progress for the special edition by the Broken Binding of The Way of Adan. The art is coming along. I could not be more excited about what I'm seeing. Just tremendous talent in artists like Renee Agner that he has produced 4 incredible full spread color illustrations, and I've now shared all 4 of them on the channel. And now I'm beginning to see some of the black and white illustrations that I'll be shouting about them as well soon. The color map is done. I'm thinking about sharing that if people are curious to see the beautiful map that has been created by Jack Shepard, who did the original map, but now there's an even better color one that's going to be in the special edition. There's a foreword by Mark Lawrence, and there's going to be a brand new cover, and that's in the works. So yeah, exciting things happening there, and I'll continue to shout about that for those who are interested. And yeah, elsewhere, I'm involved in some collaborations. Some of them haven't come out yet on YouTube. Some might be a little surprising for people. I'm making little appearances in various corners of YouTube where you might not expect to see me, but I'll be telling you about those as they come. And yeah, lots of fun ahead. I'm just having a blast here. And as always, I thank you all for your support, for your comments, for your interactions, just for watching the videos. All the likes and all of that. I appreciate all of you who have subscribed and also watched videos. It's great to be here. It's fun to be here on this platform. This community has been all I could have wanted and more in terms of the ability to engage about stories in a place where people are tremendously supportive of each other, and I deeply appreciate that every day. So that's it for me for now. Until next time.